Shout out, Bobby. Okay, this is a weird one, this story. So there was a report that came out from a couple different Twitter accounts. By the way, one of these Twitter accounts has been suspended at the moment. It was one of the Ukrainian armed forces Twitter accounts. I don't know. Vin's very excited about this. Do you know this story?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
It's right up your alley. Okay. That's fine. I can break it down for you. To a certain extent, I can break it down for you. Okay. Google denies Ukrainian reports that it unblurred satellite maps imagery in Russia. So there was a tweet along with some screenshots that suggested that Google, I got Google responding to me over here. Google's like, you talking to me? We did not. Sir, we did not unblur images. That's what my phone was just. Anyway. So a tweet along with some screenshots of military equipment, military bases, Russian military bases, like really up close from satellite imagery. And then the text was around how this was a recent development or change in the way that Google was showcasing these critical points on a map and details around these military bases. The suggestion was that previously these images had been blurred. Now, Google quickly responded to this and said, these images have never been blurred. They said, what are you talking about? We didn't change our policy on this. These have always been available like the rest of our satellite imagery. And you can see the detail here. This is satellite imagery of an airbase, for example. And so there was a little bit of back and forth from people arguing about whether or not these images were always like this or not like this. And so other people went back and said, no, they weren't. So what is the incentive then to suggest that Google would have unblurred something that wasn't previously, that actually wasn't blurred? You see what I'm saying here, Vin? In order possibly to showcase, and then the account got suspended that sends a tweet. And it was an account that I've actually feel like I've referenced on this channel before. So anyway, you got to scroll down. Well, there's obviously a lot of details here, the evidence, I should say. So this was the @Armed Forces UKR Twitter handle as of April 18th. And then the post went on and got cited by a number of publications. Early Monday morning, Armed Forces Ukraine, which is unverified but has been cited several times, tweeted a set of images that now appear to show military equipment. Now everyone can see a variety of Russian launchers, intercontinental ballistic missile mines, command posts, and secret landfills with a resolution of about 0.5 meters per pixel. So maybe they're suggesting that the resolution went up, improvements, new imagery. That's actually a good point because, you know, I like to look at real estate, for example.
How long you want this to go? Because I satellites and images and this and everything. I signed up for like 2 weeks ago, Airbus, like France, plane manufacturer, also defense. But
you won't sign up for Twitter, but you sign up for Airbus, air defense. He's like, Twitter's too much. If you're worried about getting your name on a list, then you went the more direct path. Vin, that microphone's very close to your mouth.
You're also blocking the lens.
And your hand is directly blocking me right now. Your right hand. There you go. Okay, get comfortable, Vin.
No,
Go ahead, Vin.
I was in a similar position. I was real estate related, and I'm like, all these maps suck. I can't see anything. I'm on Google. It's a year late. I'm looking for updated stuff. I'm all over the place looking for stuff. If you go back up to the picture, it says Maxar Technologies. They're the ones that, they're not Google. They're the ones that had those long convoy pictures that everyone was showing like a month ago.
Yeah, but Google utilizes their imagery.
Their satellites?
Yeah, look at this. Imagery 2022, Maxar Technologies map data.
Doesn't Google have their own satellites?
Well, there's probably some reason why Google would prefer to outsource that, or at least have a different company that they purchase that data from. You can imagine all the reasons why they might want to do that.
So Google is on
You
Google
can see
Maps.
that's Google Maps right
yeah,
there.
I know.
Yeah.
So they're taking imagery from those satellites, putting it on Google Maps. I don't know. It seems a little. That part of it seems a little. I don't know. If you go on Google Maps right now, Will, you're not going to get Maxar Technologies if you search.
Well, it might depend on where you're looking.
Well, yeah. I mean, these guys have been over there for.
Well, no, different
a month,
satellites that are going to have different access, right? One satellite, it might be its position in orbit is somewhere specific, and then another one somewhere else.
Wow. I mean,
Shout out TF242. Yeah,
Wait,
so here, that's Google's map data there.
Yeah.
Then you can see Google Plus and Niji, and it will change depending on where you need the map
go
data.
over Ukraine right now, Will.
Easy, then.
Well, what? I mean,
Getting carried away over here.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, now we have GeoBasis, DE, BKG, Geograph National, Israel is it, or GISG Israel. There's a lot, right? Depending on where you're looking, and then depending on the specific image you want.
Wow,
Data,
you
the
were
buying and
whatever.
selling of data.
yeah, I know, but everything sucks unless you're paying, which I always thought was why there can't be a free option. Like if someone just started sending up satellites and provided a service, I mean, you'd have to, you can't have I guess, free for all, but.
No, but what I was trying to get at was how important resolution is in this case.
That was I'd sign up for the free trials.
As
I'm
a
getting
military
absolutely
target,
nothing.
as a military target, you're going to need to have really good resolution.
Oh, see, so
the showcase here was that this is blurred out. This is pixelated imagery from Google Maps of a
airport
base in France, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know who's saying what. Like, obviously, this is in dispute at the moment.
So
This is an Air Force base in Nevada.
Someone could think that the account tweeting out the image may not have had permission.
You don't know,
tweet
right?
out that image.
Well, you just don't know the original source. Plus, you don't know. Let's say, for example,
but that's if you go over China right now with Google Maps, you're not getting anything, right? Like,
shout out Mete. What do you mean? Yeah, satellite can access there.
Yeah, but there's a lot blurred out. No,
blurred
like
out. What are you talking about? Like what? He wants the satellite imagery. Will the satellite layer? There you go. No, you got it. You just got to zoom in. Go to a city. Well,
Beijing.
I mean, yeah, he's going to like no man's land right now. He's like going to the middle of. Yeah, we're gonna need
Shanghai,
you. Yeah, Shanghai will do for us, Will. Yeah. So what are you talking about, man? You're good.
It does change.
Well,
Maxar.
Well, no, because there's this is a
see, now they're on
pool
Airbus.
a pool of data, and it depends on which level of zoom you're at, who has
that quality's terrible.
Images at a specific resolution. Well, at that zoom range, but he keeps going, and you'll notice it'll change. See, this is a new image at this point.
Okay, but there definitely would be, I think, certain.
But here's what I was gonna say. Is that it also depends on where the individual's viewing the map from.
Mm-hmm.
This is like how Apple Maps changed borders in what's the area in Ukraine which was annexed previous?
Crimea?
Crimea. How they change borders depending on where you are. So in Russia, it's part of Russia, and in Ukraine, it's not. The border.
Yeah.
But that way, there's all kinds of weird political input into this mapping. And so my thing would be, how do we know when it comes to resolution? So let's say just a poor resolution image, if we zoom in, that's different than being intentionally blurred. But if you didn't want certain data, you could just remove a data set that in Google Maps, that last leg that provides the necessary information. So then people wouldn't necessarily be as skeptical as if you see an obviously blurred image like this airport in France. You would just be like, okay, well, I guess that's all the information you can get. I guess that's the maximum level of zoom. Like me when I'm looking at certain properties and I'm like, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Because at that zoom level, that's the last zoom you can get, enough resolution. But anyway.
Well,
As you can tell, it's become a point of contention. And the important part is, and I want Will to just show this before we move on to the next story. If you click on the Twitter account that posted the original image, which is linked here, Armed Forces Ukraine, at least at the time that I was reading this, the account got suspended. And I had been following this account. There's a lot of information coming on this account when the whole invasion broke out and everything else. There posts a lot of stuff, and a lot of people were citing them. But just click on the handle. There you go. And you'll see they're suspended. So.
Yeah, but the account was suspended. Why? Because
I would assume it's something connected to this.
But Google says right underneath that we haven't changed our policies.
But this is not Google. This is Twitter.
But in
Twitter
the previous,
suspended them.
Yeah, but in the previous comment. So then if you're just posting a picture of an image
I think Twitter probably looked into it and realized that these images were never blurred, that this satellite imagery was never blurred, and therefore it probably fell into their misinformation bucket, their fake news bucket. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's a repeated I don't have that information. All I know is that this goes up and then the account's suspended.
On a separate note,
go ahead, Vin.
A live 24/7 satellite imagery on my TV.
Wait, you want satellite video?
Satellite video 24/7.
Vin.
That
you can get an image that's updated when those frames come through.
How much longer? 3 years? 4 years?
I can't get the information fast enough from space, can I? I don't know.
Well, everyone else probably
to be able to broadcast.
Governments have it right
to be able
now,
to broadcast across the planet.
I don't need super resolution.
I'll tell you what you can. You can follow Elon Jet, and you can know where his jet goes. There's a Twitter account for that. Is that good enough?
Imagine if you're looking at the whole war, everything. You could be watching all of it. I mean, it totally changes world events. Totally.
It's not like you're talking about Command and Conquer or League of Legends or something. You just want to watch an overhead view of
the world live.
It'd be pretty brutal to watch, Vin.
Wow, it's really, it would be what's
You trying to be
going
Batman
on.
right now?
I'm not.
You trying to be Bruce Wayne? With all those screens in front of you? You want to see what everybody's doing all the time?
No, I'm not. I'm talking for major world events. I mean,
you might see something you don't want to see.
Well, I'm not looking for that stuff.
Well, you're just watching everything everybody's doing everywhere.
For big world events.
Shout out Jason. It appears that we have discovered Vin's maximum obsession, ultimate access to all the high resolution satellite imagery. That's what gets him going.
24/7.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out Max. Appreciate it.